And here are your winning ingredients delivered to you by Papa John's. We do want to welcome in our CBS Sports HQ college football insiders, Josh Pate and Dennis Dodd, who are live in Knoxville ahead of all the action. We hear the excitement behind you guys, I should say. We have the SEC on CBS game, Bama at Tennessee there. You guys are in the thick of the action. So before we get into it, what has the atmosphere been like since you've been there?
You could cut it with a knife, I would say. And not even one of those really, really expensive knives that you buy at 1 o'clock on weeknights. You could cut it with just one of those old plastic restaurant knives. People are so ready here, Dennis. They're so ready because they know they're going to get something big today. It's just that there's been some maybe mild build-up to this rivalry over the last 15 years, and they've been disappointed. There's certainly been nothing even remotely comparable to what we've seen here. And the other part is they don't believe it's going to fizzle at kickoff. They believe they got the team to carry it out 4 quarters later.
No, this has been building up, as Josh said, for 15 years. Nick Saban hasn't lost to Tennessee since he's been here. The cigar tradition is alive and well. We have an audience off to the side here watching us. They're ready to go, and they were here bright and early. It's going to be something.
All right, we want to talk about just the quarterback situation there. We obviously know Bryce Young dealing with a shoulder injury. Now, something Tommy and I were talking about yesterday, the line was at -7, favored for Alabama. Now it looks like that's shifted a little bit. So maybe indicating that Bryce Young is going to play. If he does, if he doesn't, how does that change things for Bama ultimately?
It's been this kind of funny talking point back and forth this week, Dennis, because everyone's looked at the line, and it was at 7 most of the week, as Jacqueline said, and everyone has just assumed, well, we'll know because Vegas will know before we know, and sometimes that's true. Look, other times that gets kind of mythologically built up a little bit bigger than it is. There is just smart money moving with the percentages, and the fact of the matter is Bryce Young's probably going to play. You and I have both talked to people inside that program, and as much as they can tell you, we think he's going to play, but it's, to me at least, not been an issue all week of will Bryce Young play. It's what version of him are we going to get? Because, I mean, he could trot out there and hand the ball off 50 times. That's not Bryce Young. So to what degree can their passing game function? If it can full speed, you got reason for that line to move in favor of Bama. If it can't, pretty good run defense with Tennessee that could bog that offense down. And like we were talking about an hour ago before we went on cam, it's not like Alabama struggling offensively would be something new to us. We just saw them struggle they never topped 3 touchdowns against Texas a few weeks ago.
Yeah, this is very similar to Texas, I think. Not as low scoring, but I think on the road, locked in against a quality opponent. I talked to Nick Saban last night on camera, and he said, well, we'll know in pregame on Bryce Young. There was a report this morning that he's likely to play or is on track to play. I think it's not a function of, like you said, not if he plays. Are we getting 80% of Bryce? Are we getting 90% of Bryce? There was a comment from Nick this week where he said there's going to be a pitch count. Well, does that mean he can only throw 20 passes? Does that mean they're going to try to get out to a big lead and then hand the ball off? Can 90% of Bryce Young win this game? I think that's the question, because I think 80% clearly no. Because if they have to go to Jalen Milroe, or if he's not able to throw effectively, or even 20 yards downfield, you can't hide that from this defense, which you mentioned is top 11 in run defense.
One other thing, Jacqueline, that just should be put on the record here and then stowed away. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. They worked a true freshman by the name of Ty Simpson at practice this week. A little bit more repetition-wise than they normally would. And that, of course, is planning for the disaster scenario of Bryce Young not being able to play. Jalen Milroe can't get it done through the air. Ty Simpson is a former 5-star guy from the state of Tennessee. He's never thrown a meaningful pass before, but that's one of those break glass in case of emergency functions that was prevalent in Alabama practice this week. So anyone who has told anyone it's a slam dunk that anything's going to happen today is probably just trying to get attention. How dare they try and get attention?
Okay, so Ty Simpson getting some reps in there. Okay, also want to get your guys' picks here. So obviously Bama favored, but Josh, starting with you, how do you think things are going to shake out there in Knoxville?
I took Tennessee to win the game outright. Certainly took them plus the points. And just a little PSA to all the children watching. You're sitting there with mom's credit card. You're deciding which way you want to go in this game. If you're going to bet Tennessee, Dennis, why not wait until right before kickoff? You see that line elevating, and if we get more confirmation Bryce Young's going to start, it may hit 10, may hit double digits. So regardless of what happens at quarterback, and I've said this all week, I'm going to take Tennessee to cover and win, and that's only because as we kind of unfurl the deck of cards, the deck of possibilities this game could include, I don't think there's a 100% Bryce Young in that deck. So even if we get him, I'll still take Tennessee in the points because I just don't think that offense is going to function at a high enough level where they can shred Tennessee like they may be able to do if Young was fully healthy with the vulnerability of that secondary. I think the Tennessee run defense is the biggest hidden statistic in today's game, and I will take Tennessee. I think they're ready. I think they're playing their best ball. I don't think Alabama's peaking yet. I'll take Tennessee to win.
Have we considered, because of the injury, Tennessee might have the better quarterback today? We've gotten this far. We haven't even mentioned Hendon Hooker. 66 touchdowns, 10 interceptions in his career. He's having a fantastic year this year. Pass percentage, pass efficiency, he's number one in that in the SEC, and has been the leader on this team. I think Tennessee, if they win this game, wins it in a shootout with some help from that run defense, because Alabama is hoping, if things go wrong, that they can slam Jahmyr Gibbs up in there.
Right.
Jahmyr Gibbs, by the way, has had his two biggest career games the last 2 weeks against Arkansas and Texas A&M. So if things do go sideways, that's their best hope, because if Jalen Milroe has to play, his 3 turnovers last week are a concern, and 4 overall for Alabama.
All right, so Josh Pate there taking Tennessee. Thank you to our college football insiders, Josh Pate, Dennis Dodd. Sorry, Dennis. Have fun out there. I feel like the atmosphere is just going to get more intense as we approach kickoff. All right, and we have Bama taking on Tennessee there. Bama favored by 9. We have our insider Josh Pate. He's taking Tennessee there. Bama winning the last 15 matchups, all under Nick Saban. Can Tennessee break that streak? We will have to find out there on our SEC on CBS game.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.